happy LLC land. We're
Whoop.
here. Enter the gates.
For the
It's
second
time.
show.
I know, right? This is the show now. The pre-show has happened. The appetizer has been served,
And an epic one it was.
right? So, you all are catching us an hour and 10 minutes after we got on, and we are warmed up, warmed up. So, quickly, Grand Slam Cheeks, how are you?
I'm ready to clap.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That came out. Okay. Wow.
Out loud.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Perfect.
Look, hold on. Penalty box, 3 minutes. Look, legitimately. All right, Governor, how are you tonight?
I'm quite cheeky tonight. Quite cheeky.
Listen,
That's all I got.
Oh gosh. Clyde, how about you, sir?
not participating in this nonsense. You know, I am not here for that.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Well, we are now officially 2 weeks, some people 3 weeks in outdoor season. And things have definitely started to happen already. And thunderish actions have thrown down on the first weekend of relay era. It's relay era. We needed a shirt. Relay era. I'm in my relay era. Because we got Pepsi relays this weekend. And then Penn relays in 2 weekends from now, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember when Drake's are, but somewhere around there. So let's hit them up LLC style with a little bit of track is back. Not necessarily just Texas relays, but track is back, period.
I mean, y'all were in Texas.
I know. So Captain Obvious. India ran 1091. Legal,
Yep.
3.9. Our relay ran 4287 something, 4280 something.
Yeah, that happened. Yeah.
School record, right? School record?
School record, top mark, with the slowest first leg ever.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Not
All right.
ever. Not ever. But it was slow.
Cheeky. Very cheeky.
So, but I didn't say we had anything faster. I just said it was slow. That's all. So, I mean,
Oh gosh.
just, put it out there. I'm sorry. That was mean. I should really fix that. Rewind that one, just delete that. It was a great leg. It just wasn't a good leg. It wasn't a great leg. It was just a good leg.
Unmute Grand Slam so he can help you out for this clip.
No, I don't need to. No, there's nothing to help. I'm just being brutally honest. Okay. Wait, whoops.
Oh my God. That was.
It's all right.
These are the kind of things that happen in the pre-show.
That's right.
Don't ever actually witness.
What my colleague was trying to say was there are much better things to come, and they have not even approached their ceiling yet.
Yes.
Sure.
They have not scratched the surface.
The first leg was nowhere near as good as it's going to be.
Okay.
Yes. That's what was said.
Yes.
Or yeah, go with that.
Oh boy.
So outside of Texas, there was a no. No, honestly, I will say this. We have sung the praises of India Mayberry all year, and will continue to. She is a force, and continues to impress. The most impressive thing I actually saw at Texas Relays was the men's 110 hurdles. 13-0, just slightly windy.
Yes.
In April.
Yes.
Was not on anyone's bingo card at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like that was a soft field that Mr. Smallwood dismantled. But it was very, very impressive. And, props to that dude. If that's where we are now, I'm very interested to see where we will be in June, because that's a problem, and that's a problem for everybody. So
Mm.
Oh
that was
yeah.
the most impressive thing I saw.
The meet overall, pretty much had 3 different types of weather from Thursday on in.
Wednesday.
From Wednesday on in, yeah.
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 Okay.
So,
I got a question for y'all.
okay.
From the television viewing audience, whatever day you put it on, it seemed like the lowest energy event I've witnessed in a long time. Is that how it felt in the stadium?
Yes.
So,
It
but
did.
here's
Why?
why I think part of it was the weather. No one's willing to sit in the wet. And you had Thursday was wet.
Mm-hmm.
Friday was supposed to be more wet, and it wasn't.
And it wasn't.
So yeah, and then Saturday was just like, here, clouds parted. Here's all of the sun for the last 3 days that you didn't get.
Yes.
So I think it was just leading up into that.
I mean, but there's been weird, strange, bad weather at Texas relays before. It's the time of year, right? Like, here's all I can tell you. Again, I'm not there. I'm on television. Every single race that anything good happened, if the announcer has to beg the audience to participate in what's going on,
Come on, you can do better than that.
like every race,
Let's give them a little bit of clap, up and
like
over.
every race. Like, I'm
Well,
like,
okay, so let's address the elephant that was not in the room, right? Like, part of what makes Texas relays special is because it's always billed as like Texas versus the US, right? Okay. So LSU, USC, Texas A&M, Florida were not there,
okay.
right? So vast majority of what you saw was by Texas people, Texas schools. And again, not because it wasn't impressive, but there's an element of ooh and ah, and I told you so, and cantankerousness in the stands when a school from Texas beats a school from Georgia, or a school from Texas beats a school from Louisiana, or a school from Texas beats a school from Florida. Well, when most of what was going on was Texas on Texas crime, it just wasn't as contentious in the stands. People were kind of like, "Oh, that was good."
Okay.
I mean, if
that makes sense. I get that.
If you're looking at, yeah, go ahead.
No, and I just think that like a lot of times, like this is what's wrong with these relay meets, right? Is like their times have passed. And so now we're trying to put lipstick and bonnets and suits and all these other things on the rhino, right? Like they really don't belong the way they are any longer. So now we're just trying to keep them afloat because of tradition, right? There is no real reason to go to a relay carnival.
Yeah,
right. Raleigh relays. I mean, here's what's crazy: 9 million things happen at Raleigh relays. They got as many relays, if not more, than Texas relays does, right? But what, the American record and the collegiate record were broken in the mile a couple times,
Yeah.
right? Because individual things have become more pertinent at these relay meets, because at the end of the day, I only got to run fast enough to be in the top 24 in half of the country in the relay. That just doesn't take that much effort. So nobody, like, we don't have to go to Texas relays to do it. We don't have to go to Mount Sac to do it. Like, we can do it in, the UTSA UT Rio Grande dual meet. Right?
I mean,
we just got to be ready to race when it matters. And so that's kind of look, all of us have been involved in track long enough. There's no way, if I told you that LSU, USC, Texas A&M, Florida, not one of them was going to Texas relays, you'd have been like, no chance.
No,
I mean, to this day, let's call it what it is. To this day, the Texas relays are on that next level if the Southwest Conference is there.
100%. That's
So
what it is.
So, and then the outlier, which always, for some reason, that rivalry between Houston and Louisiana, you throw LSU into the mix. So if you got Texas, A&M, LSU, Houston, Tech, Baylor, TCU, and Arkansas at Texas Relays, oh man, I mean,
Right.
insanity. Oh, and Oklahoma, you throw that into the mix, and it is
now that you say,
crazy.
I'm not even being funny. Was Baylor there?
No, Baylor was
No,
at
no,
LSU.
LSU.
Baylor was at LSU.
Okay, so that was the other interesting distinction from the weekend, right? Like there
Mm-hmm.
was a monster track meet
Yeah,
in Louisiana,
in Louisiana. Yep.
and
The nation's fastest 200 was run.
Yep.
I mean,
13:22 in the hurdles.
Two
oh
dudes ran
my,
10-0 in the 100.
Yep.
we got
One of whom was a
25.
football player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, a little, just kind of snuck in there. Arizona State kid wins a quarter. A&M goes 45-4, 45-7, 45-82, and 46-17 for second through fifth without their big dog.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, a little opener. No
Like
big
that's
deal.
that. I mean, I guess for me, that was the biggest dynamic of the weekend, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
Texas Relays weekend is Texas
Yeah.
Relays weekend, but LSU said to hell with that and put on a significantly better competition.
Yes, and allowed athletes to run their individual races
Yeah.
with no stress.
I mean, it was even a whole other level of ridiculous because the weather ended up getting so bad they couldn't even run the 4x4.
Yeah.
And nobody complained because all of those teams are gonna qualify for regionals in the 4x4 literally anytime they run it.
I mean, look at this list. Arizona State, A&M, USC, LSU, Penn State,
And Baylor.
Kansas, Baylor, Mississippi State, Indiana, Michigan. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
Missouri was there. Ole Miss was there. I mean, that's crazy.
So I guess I mean this goes off on a tangent, but if a place like LSU, and let's be clear, they know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it was on purpose.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it feels like you're one more additional meet away from like Texas Relays almost kind of being dead to rights.
But that's what I was saying, right? Like think about the full-on onslaught that Penn Relays has taken in the last 10 years.
Sure.
I mean, it used to be Penn Week was Penn Week, right?
Yes.
Everybody east of the Rockies went to Penn Relays or Drake.
Yes.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
No. And but see the fall off of Penn makes a lot of sense to me, given where it is in the calendar, how close it is to championships, and the fact that the internet has now made it, you don't need to go to Penn to talk to the Caribbean kids, right? So it's like if you're not East Coast, there's really no legitimate reason to do all of that.
But that's what I'm saying. Those meets they've all gone back to being regional. The Penn Relays is now it might as well be called East Coast Relays. The Drake Relays might as well be called Midwest Relays. Mount Sec might as well be called West of the Rockies Relays. And to the point we were making at the beginning of this conversation, right? Texas Relays has become very much Texas people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's no need for 2 and 3 time zone travel when you have a regional. Sorry, a first round.
But yeah. LSU and I don't mean LSU University, like they did phenomenal things in their own competition. But that's one of the best track meet. You'd be hard pressed to outdo the LSU competition from this past weekend for the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, it was SEC without what, 2 teams, 3 teams?
Yeah. SEC and the
Really?
best of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
The new
I mean, what's crazy is if you look at the lineup of who's coming to Florida Relays this weekend, sort of looks like what used to be at Texas Relays.
Mm-hmm.
well, and this is something that I've always felt like Florida Relays has always gotten right for years compared to all the other relay traditional meets. Florida Relays still has all the individual events.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, there's the fun relay specific stuff in there, and you could choose to participate in it or not. But it's an actual track meet. It's not a relay
Mhm.
car.
Yep.
Before we gloss over it, for those who had the biggest criticisms of Texas Relays and being 3 hours behind and the foolery of everything getting logistics done, was 1,002% better this
It
year.
was absolutely better. And I think the weather had a lot to do with the whole check-in process. It was clearly not nearly as, log jammed as it was. They kind of open up things, just show up at the tent and be
Yeah.
ready to go. And it was great.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
They ran the meet ran on time.
There
Yeah,
you go.
I think at the greatest we got was 10 minutes behind, and then they made
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
Well, that in and of itself is tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because I think that the delay you're speaking of is honestly the genesis of the LSU meet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
exactly.
oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
Now, one thing that's never, really discussed is the spillover to Texas State. And it is awe-inspiring, man. It is unbelievable.
Okay, I just want to stick my 2 cents in here real quick. Because y'all can't say this, right? I can.
Okay.
Holistically unpopular opinion until you go to both meets. The Texas State meet is a better meet.
Wow.
You listen, you can warm up and not run over people.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to the meet and run really fast,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can get on the freeway and go home.
Yes. Yeah.
So tell me where I'm wrong. If you look at the marks, look at the best marks that are performed at the Texas State meet, and look at the best marks performed at Texas Relays. Consider who's at both meets, and tell me I'm wrong.
I'll wait.
I'll wait. You knew it was coming.
Hey, the spillover meets as you described them have been a phenomenon for years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I mean, on the West Coast, the spillover from Mount Sac to Azusa has become so big that Azusa is its own thing now.
Dude, the Brian Clay Invitational used to be a decathlon with a few other events.
Yeah.
It is now a full-blown distance carnival that happens to have a decathlon in it and a heptathlon in it.
That's right.
Right? Like, speaking of spillovers, Will Clay's lifetime PB in the triple jump is not from the Olympics, not from Florida Relays, not from, some Diamond League meet. It's from the Long Beach Invitational. Track record is what, 18-16 or 18-19, whatever his PB is?
It's true.
Nobody ever wants to hear these things, but listen, sometimes these meets get to be too big for their own britches, and they turn people away that belong in their meets. So people go, they already are going, right? This is what happened with Texas State, that people already had plane tickets.
Yes. Yeah.
And so Texas State then became well, hey, we have a meet. We can meet manage on the fly. You know what I mean? Like, you can come down here and run. You can bring your A and your B group at the same time, stay in the same hotels, send one coach with the B group, right? And then let everybody else deal with all the nonsense at Texas Relays. And then when they're at dinner, the coach that coached the B group got to coach the kids. They all jumped or ran or whatever fast. Then they went and had barbecue, and then they came home peacefully without traffic. Well, how'd you guys do? Oh, the meet was 3 hours behind schedule. So good for Texas Relays for fixing that, though, for real. Like, we crush people when they do things like that. So let's be just as boisterous.
That's right. That's right.
And giving props for for them, rectifying that.
Getting it right. Yeah.
Well said.
Not to be glossed over in regards to Mark's Kentucky's men's 4x1.
Hey, it's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a full-fledged adult problem.
So interested to see what times come out of this weekend.
Yes, indeed.
So the ball has started to move, and we'll see how big this cluster of a 4x1.
Would you guys like a preview of Team USA versus Team Canada?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I would actually.
I won't give order because that's too I'm giving too much, but I'll say Team USA will have a Christian Coleman, an Ariane Knighton, a Kyrie King, and a surprise other person. No, it's not Noah. That's all I will tell you. He's not running.
So Kyrie's running the anchor then.
I didn't say that. I didn't say any of that.
Oh, I'm saying.
But I will tell you there's also a B team that will have a couple of people, as well as a PJ Austin and a Robert Gregory.
Well, I'm disappointed that I'm never going to get to see my idea come to fruition. I still want Team Adidas versus Team Nike versus whatever.
100%.
I still want to see that race. But
100%. I will just say that the Florida Relays 4x1 should be pretty entertaining.
I said this, I'm going to throw it out on the internet. Not necessarily bringing back, but celebrating the high school style relay meet and letting the jumps be 3 cumulative jumps to win the jumps relay, respectively.
I would be here for that.
As an idea.
Yeah. So like, remember in high school, you went to the relays meet and it was 3 long jumps. You had to have 3 marks. 3
Shoot,
high
I ain't gonna lie
jumps.
to you. I never paid no damn attention to any.
See, Chuck was too busy talking to women. He didn't have time.
This is absolutely true.
He didn't have time for the field event shenanigans.
At the high school relay meets, look, we show up, we win. You put your you swag on and you go figure out where the after party is. I never looked at no field events at all.
Yeah. You used to have to put 3 scores together, and then that's how you won the event.
Not a bad idea.
I think it would be fun.
Hey, I'd rather see that than these boards and zones at the Diamond League. So
Mm-hmm.
Did y'all see the foul that I put in the group chat?
Yes, that was kind of funny.
Oh.
Okay. Switching lanes.
Sit up, pay attention. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm gonna go to what I think is the fun part. We're talking about how NIL has kind of changed the landscape. And we're not talking about the amount of money that is being given per se, but how now because of the money that is given, other considerations are being part of the conversation. For instance, life happenings for these young adults. If the city that they're going to, the town that they're going to, doesn't turn up enough, is the money enough to get them there, to keep them there? Or does the money then lure them away to somewhere else? So long-winded, but very. But I'll say this, there are a lot of people who don't realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
we'll let Grand Slam you throw his basketball example, because I think that's one of the best ones.
Sure, I can do that. I mean, I don't think this is enlightening to most people, but maybe it is. Indiana, not surprising to some people, they lost their coach. It's in Bloomington, Indiana. And Kansas have lost their entire rosters to the portal or graduation, grad transferring, I should say. And what is most interesting in that information is that Kansas didn't lose their coach. Their coach is a Hall of Fame coach, that no one's questioning his success. And they have, I believe, the second largest allotment of funds to spend on NIL for basketball. So these kids are leaving because they don't want to live in Lawrence, Kansas.
Who the hell wants to be rich in Lawrence, Kansas?
I mean, listen, I will personally tell you, especially as a collegian, I would have wanted to be rich, period. It wouldn't have mattered where I was. But these kids have choices, options, and are way too full of themselves. So they want it all. They want the money, they want the freedom, and they want to be someplace where it's popping. And, look, if they have all of these opportunities, then I sort of get it, but it has changed. I will say, for once, quality of life is becoming an actual decision maker for a great deal of these young people, because they don't have to worry about going to the highest bidder, because everybody's the highest bidder.
Listen, if you put me in college in a clout generating environment like college basketball, and you hand me hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, I'm not picking. With all the access that I have and all the access that money can get you, especially in those kind of environments, I'm not picking Lawrence, Kansas. I won't be in Miami.
Listen,
I won't be in Miami.
You've started this, so
You know what I mean?
let's go around the panel. Everybody give their top 3 places that they were a collegiate athlete with we'll just say $1 million, right? We don't go crazy. Everybody's paid, right?
Yeah.
Where's the top 3 places in the country that you would then now consider as where I want to be?
And what sport? Would it matter what sport?
I mean, I think you can choose your own sport.
Doesn't really
I wouldn't choose football, but I would say,
the answer is
basketball, track, baseball. So where are you going?
LA.
Okay.
So you're just going to LA.
That's it.
Sure, there's other places that would be cool and everything, but
so you're using your 3 visits to go to UCLA, USC, and
where?
No. The question
Loyola
was
Marymount.
No, sure. The question was quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As a collegiate human,
Yes.
with all of the things that my new money can bring to me.
All the trappings, as they
So you're an LA guy.
I want the Hollywood trappings.
Yeah, I don't want no parts of that. What you got? What you got, Governor?
Yes, you do, Grand Slam cheeks.
What'd you say?
Yes, you do, Grand Slam cheeks.
I want nothing to do with LA.
Man. let's start with Miami.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeesh. Houston and LA. Those would be my three.
All right.
If you
Big league.
Although I've never really spent time in LA, like to really understand how that culture is. The Miami part would just be insane, I think.
You're
Look,
such a Caribbean.
listen,
What you got, big league?
I'll give you my real answers if you want.
What was your real answer? I thought it was Dylon, and Dylon.
No. LA is definitely the one. But if this is a collegiate shenanigans quality of life question.
Yes.
This is college age Chuck.
No.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
College age Chuck didn't need any of this to live my best life.
Oh, anyway.
In LA for a part of that, by the way.
Yes, we know.
No, I didn't need none of that. These are for the lames that need the trappings. But look, LA and Miami, obviously. And then in all seriousness, from a shenanigans perspective, Nashville.
Wow.
Listen.
Wow. Okay.
Big league, would you like to go?
So I'm conflicted on my answers because
if Hawaii is not one of them, then I'm
right. But it's because we have adult life experience on this, right? So like I was gonna say Nashville, but for young adults, it's not as fun. For college adults, it's not as fun as young adults.
You're drawing a distinction between over and under 21.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay. Sure.
So that's where I had to reverse that call. So for that, I say San Diego, Austin, then Miami.
Okay.
So maybe it's because we spend so much time together.
No.
Her first two are my first. Don't do that. Her first two are my first two.
I'm not mad at the Austin thing.
Listen, I'm telling you right now, San Diego, Austin, and then this has come to me later in life, but I'd probably pick the DFW. Because I'm gonna tell you this right now. Listen, if you were in college and had $1 million, pick a school in the DFW. Just pick one. SMU, TCU, UTA, UNT, sure.
UT Dallas.
UT Dallas. I'm good. Yep. I got $1 million. Yep, I'm good. So my three: San Diego, Austin, and the DFW. And I mean, look, the last two don't destroy lots of other places like LA or Miami. I mean, they're right up in there, right? Listen, quiet as it's kept, Atlanta. That would make a Georgia Tech experience completely different.
Oh,
that's all I'm gonna tell you.
Well, that's true.
For real.
Because I can tell you right now. Listen, if I was a collegian with $1 million and I went to Tech, you couldn't tell me anything.
But could you get into Tech?
Yes, I could. I actually had good grades, ma'am.
So here's
I'm just messing with you. Yes. And that is part of the issue, right? Is that like you still have to get into Tech.
Well, so right? here's a sleeper by proximity. The choice is New Orleans, but via Baton Rouge.
Yeah, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be completely honest, and I'm gonna take some flack for this. I don't want to be the rich guy in Baton Rouge because Baton Rouge is like one of the 5 most dangerous places in the United States.
It's
like I'm cool off of being rich in Baton Rouge. I'm actually completely cool off that.
This is not untrue.
No, this is very true.
I'm not taking shots at LSU. I'm just look at the numbers on the internet.
So, but what no one is saying is Lawrence, Kansas.
I mean, because here's the thing, right? What these kids are realizing is the quaintness and awesomeness and the college feel of a college town. Now, because they make so much money, they can think larger and grander scales. But B, what did you say earlier? Who wants to be rich in Lawrence, Kansas? It's you stand out too much. You know, like I mean, you just kind of stand out too much.
It's the dawn of the era of all things being equal.
Yes.
Where do you want to be?
Yes.
And this is why I chose
It
LA.
it is no longer the idea that I'm going to go to the school because this coach is going to get me to the league. Mm-mm.
And you got people trying to avoid the league.
Yes,
You
absolutely.
got
But,
people trying to do
what's
everything
funny
they
is
can
like
to avoid the league.
you've seen it immediately
Or
in
going
football,
the
right?
draft.
That's why Austin, Texas is now destroying Tuscaloosa,
Yes,
Alabama
yes.
in the NIL world
Yeah.
because who wants to be rich in Tuscaloosa? Right?
I've been there.
It's you know, listen, I'm not crapping on any of these places. I'm just saying these kids live in a different world than we do, right? Like being a college athlete and being in Auburn, Alabama was really cool until until all your friends have $1 million.
Yes.
Now it's not that cool because what are you spending it on?
Mm-hmm. In
You're
Tuscaloosa.
look, you're if you're in Auburn, you're going to go to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, now because of the portal, you can just go
In Atlanta.
to Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so the world is very different. And I will tell you this: I feel like KST already knows what I'm going to say. Let me loose as a college coach at Long Beach State in the NIL in the
There we
NIL
go.
era.
There we go.
Let me loose. What?
Oh man.
What?
That's LA.
No, that is not LA.
Oh.
That's what LA would be when it matures. That's 25-year-old plus LA.
Yes.
See? When you can be adjacent to the shenanigans but live on the beach.
Right.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Sold.
Yes.
Sold.
So I don't we can't get out of here right without dealing with his namesake.
You know, the grand, you know what? We should it might have a new name now. The Grand Slam pullout game.
Oh jeez.
Oh.
No.
Too much of the first hour has seeped into this hour.
I know.
We're letting
Crossover.
we're getting a little loose now with
Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to state for the record, the first pre-meet tweet was
man.
about the 13 to 15 people who pulled out of the meet.
Yes. So
listen, we all hope for the best but prepare for the worst as it pertains to Grand Slam track. I think that panel wide we agree to that. That's what
absolutely.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So now some of the nuances of Grand Slam track are going to cannibalize itself. All of these people were scheduled to be in not one but two events.
Yeah.
So all of these pullouts cause massive issues over a 2-day meet.
Now,
I'm not blaming these people because listen, at the end of the day, is no meet at the first week of April is worth jeopardizing your championship season.
Yeah.
Right. So like I get it. If you're not quite right, if you got a little niggle, if you know what I mean, like the travel from indoors has crushed you, whatever it is, like pull out. You're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
However, What did the contract say?
So that was gonna be my question, because I honestly hadn't studied the list per se.
19 athletes.
But of the 19, are we talking about the racers or the challengers?
If you look at that list, a great number of those people are racers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then that's most definitely a problem. Because the whole idea, if I understood it, was, and I hate those two distinctions, by the way. The headliners are the people you're coming to see. You're coming
Mm-hmm.
to see Sid. If Sid decides for whatever reason, or Bobby decides for whatever reason, that Sid ain't about to do this double, then she's out. But she's contractually obligated to be there. So I would imagine there are like consequences for stuff like that when the racers pull out. If all the racers show up and the challengers are pulling out, well, then it's just weird.
All of the above. Yes.
And you got 4 people on a track, and it looks like an odd collegiate heat or something, right?
Even weirder is that those same 4 people are going to race the next day in another event.
Yes.
Correct. So, I mean,
I'm hoping that there's a pretty substantial waiting in the wings list.
yeah, that's what you absolutely hope. Like just as a quick glance, there's 3 male sprint hurdlers on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So there's half your field right there.
Mm-hmm. See, back in the day, because I'm old, Kareem will agree. This is where the meet in Zagreb became so famous and popular, because it was between 2 gigantic meets.
Right.
So you would be confirmed at Zagreb, and as being a confirmed and ticketed to Zagreb, you were then eligible for the big meet before Zagreb or the big meet after Zagreb, assuming somebody pulled out. So if you got confirmed in Zagreb, you were probably going to compete in 2 meets.
Oh, damn. So the first one of the Grand Slam's debut is in Jamaica, yes?
Yes.
Correct.
Omar McLeod and Hansel Parchment are out.
See, you're getting to what I was saying. Like, there's no way that those 2 dudes are not racers. You see what I'm saying? There's no way that those 2 guys were not racers for the meet in Jamaica. They're not challengers.
Well, but no, hold on. The racers are the people who are under contract.
That's what I'm saying. Those 2 guys pulled out. There ain't no way that those 2 dudes were challengers.
Well, but I'm saying you can't just be a challenger for one meet. I mean, a racer for one meet. Like, if you got a contract, you're supposed to be at all 4. That's
Sir, the Olympic champion is not a challenger anywhere.
I would hope
that man has a whole ass gold medal.
I would hope not. Well, it will be on TV though. So,
and look, I'm not even going to assume it's going to be bad. So I want everybody to understand, like, I'm not hating on it. I hope that it's good, but I just wish that people in our sport would understand the art of underselling and over delivering.
yes.
We constantly oversell and underdeliver. So we make great things that we do in our sport seem just okay. When you make statements like, I'm going to save track and field. Right? Like, how can this series of meets live up to that?
It's a fair point.
We just need to be a little more subtle and then pop out and show them, as opposed to just running our mouths about how great we're going to be. And then we got the pullout game. All right. I'm sorry.
Golly. Well, nonetheless, we're all excited to see what Grand Slam is going to do. the
100%.
energy that it's going to bring and the excitement that'll come with it. And maybe we'll see less athletes withdrawing from the meet at that point after they see the first one go. Who knows? But we will see.
I mean, I'm very hopeful that the pullouts are not for any nefarious reason. Like, I'm very hopeful that these people have legitimate reasons. I know a couple of them, and I know that their reasons for not participating are legitimate. But you just hope that everything just be on the up and up. That's all I
Good
ask.
faith.
Yeah.
Good faith effort. So, Final Four.
Mm-hmm.
That's happening.
Do you have the results of our way too early picks?
I do not. I do not. I thought I put them in my phone and I can't find them. So either they were accidentally erased or I pretended. Let's go back to the tape. Just kidding. But yeah,
You
no,
can do that.
I don't have them.
I mean, the most interesting thing to me about the Final Four is twofold, and I have not watched any college basketball, including the tournament. I just haven't. There are two strains of thoughts that you see out in the sports media space right now as it pertains to the Final Four. One, this is the greatest Final Four matchup ever. It's the best, most competitive. All the number one seeds are in. It's going to be a bloodbath of talent and blah, blah, blah. They're very excited about that. The other side of it is this is the start of the death of the tournament because of NIL, because there is so much talent saturation at these programs. Listen, the thing that has always made March Madness is literally the madness. There was no madness in this. There was none. There was no.
There
There's
was madness in the play-in.
No
Sure.
non-power
Who cares about that?
team. No non-power 4 team made it to the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you don't have that, a lot of people believe it is significantly less interesting. And I think you're right.
100%.
So the money imbalance has created tournament imbalance, and the Final Four might be awesome. But this isn't college football where the ultimate desire is to do everything you can do to ensure that the 4 best teams get to play. It's a 1 game at a time tournament. You need the upsets, right? Like over the past 5 years, I promise you, anytime when March Madness starts, I didn't really turn it on until there was an upset. And then I'm intrigued to see, can Creighton make it all the way through? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's me. But that seems to be the argument going on in the sports media world right now.
I mean, I've seen both sides. The purists love the fact that the best basketball teams will be in the final. But again, what March Madness used to be is no longer.
Not even
And
close.
no. And it's it's sad in a way, but this is what this is where we're at. This is the NIL era. This is the era of teams that can afford to pay players even if they don't play. They're now stacking their chips and they're making sure that they have a backup to the backup to the backup going into the tournament. And the fact that this is for the second time in history, you have the the four number 1 seeds makes for very good quality basketball. And whoever can impose their style, their style on their opponent will be the one that wins. Personally, I mean, are we picking or not?
We could pick.
Sure.
Well, who you got, Big League?
I don't even know. That's a I was so focused on TCU women's. I was like, oh yeah, there's a men's tournament too.
So Auburn, Florida. Houston plays Duke.
Correct. And the committee thinks they're funny by putting Auburn and Florida on the same side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is the rubber match, right? Didn't they play twice already?
Oh, of course. Wait, did they play 3 times? Did they play in the actual SEC tournament?
No, because Auburn lost.
Okay. Auburn lost early enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not early, but they lost in the final 4 of the SEC tournament. I think that's right. I don't think Florida.
They lost to Alabama.
That's
Yeah.
right. I mean, I'm gonna take Auburn and their 23-year-old roster average over Florida, even though I'm really impressed with the job that the Florida coach has done this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I haven't watched the games, but I've paid attention to the narratives and the background of, you know, all the stuff that he's been affiliated with, and he's killing it. So yeah, I'm gonna take Auburn. And then there's no universe where I ever cheerlead for Duke basketball, so I'm definitely rolling with Kelvin Sampson over Duke. It's just the way I grew up. You don't root for basketball.
It's funny because there was a thing on Instagram about how like this particular Duke team has people in a quandary because they're actually likable.
John
And they
Shire has made Duke likable. Yeah.
Yep, and they play a brand of basketball that you actually like, and they're not whiny. But I mean, your Final Four has the best team playing the most athletic team and the oldest team, and the best player playing. I mean, I don't know how you get more athletic than Houston's team.
The best defensive team.
The best defensive team by far.
By far.
And they're playing against the best player, in my opinion, sort of by far. I think when we picked this originally, I think I picked Auburn. Since Chu doesn't have any, she can't hold my feet to the fire on that. I'm going to pick the Gators because I've actually watched the tournament, and the way they're playing, they kind of look like
Clayton Jr. My goodness,
they kind of look like they're not getting beat. I certainly am going to root for Kelvin Sampson. Although I absolutely love watching Cooper Flag play basketball. And so if it's Florida, Houston for the championship, I'm going to pick the Gators. I think they're the best team in the tournament. Like, you know, the right people on the bus and the right people on the bus in the right seats. I think Florida's doing that best.
I say Auburn. I say Auburn, Houston in the final. And I think the big question mark that's out there is whether Broome is going to be able to play. He's not 100%. He hasn't been 100% all season, but I mean, he went down. It
didn't look good.
No, it didn't look good.
And then he came back and played, but it was very Willis Reed-esque.
Yeah,
he was definitely kind of limping and holding the arm and looking a little weird.
So I think that'll be a factor. If it is Auburn and Houston, I pick Houston.
Big League, have you flipped that coin yet?
Yeah, basically that's what I've been looking at. So I'm going to go like the governor, Auburn versus Houston. I do have Houston for the Big 12 love winning.
Yeah.
There you go.
Not mad at it.
So for the record, we have Houston, Florida. And
Auburn.
And Auburn.
Okay.
There we go. So Duke's going to win it all. Got it.
Yes.
Exactly.
Basically. So, all right, y'all. Let's gear up for another fun weekend. We'll keep coming back and do another fun episode next week. So have fun, travel safe, good marks, good times. We'll see each other soon. Bye, everyone.